What's going on, everyone? This is Tom from Two Guys Talking Toys with another toy review. This time I am taking a look at the Super 7 Ultimates line Thundercats Robear Bill. This is one of the Burbils who I loved watching when when I was growing up. They appeared in, I believe, episode 3 of Thundercats. They saved Robear Bill, specifically saved Lion-O after he was doing something stupid, as Lion-O was wont to do. And once they announced that they were making them in the Ultimates line, I was super duper excited. Kind of pricey, as has been a common complaint with some of the Super 7 stuff, but this actually went on sale on Amazon not too long ago. So, as always, keep an eye out. If you're not interested in playing clearance chicken, I get it. But if you're looking for a pretty decent deal, sometimes these will dip a pretty hefty amount, and then that's the time to strike and get yourself a Robear Bill, one of my favorite Burbils. I just love the Burbils as a whole. So let's take a quick look at the back. Just some artwork of Robear Bill, not too much else. And let's get him out of there. So I'm not trying to be inappropriate by showing you Robear Bills, but this is the way I have to hold it to get this out. And here he is, Robear Bill. Look at this little guy. He is adorable. My my first thought getting him out of the package was the Matt Hardy,
Delightful!
because he is delightful. This makes me give Super 7 a lot of credit because this is a flawless translation of the character into plastic. Everything about him is adorable and fantastic, and I love it. I'm sorry, this is going to be kind of a tainted review because I have always loved the Burbils. I've always wanted toys of them. I was never able to get them in the original toy line, and even those were, it was the 80s, so they were what they were. This is what I wanted. An articulated Berbil Bill with all the bells and whistles, all the fun. I am liking it. So, first thing that I did notice, once you get him out of the package, or as you're pulling him out of the package, the detailing on him is really good. It is really well done. The way that they handle the fur, the circuitry, the robotic detailing is really good. But if you're just going to grab Robear Bill by the shoulder or something, because of the way that this is sculpted and because of the quality of the plastic, which is very good. It's solid. So Rover Bill is actually kind of a hefty figure. You're Once you get him down, he's not going anywhere. But once if you reach in and you just grab him by this, he will poke you. It, he will defend himself just by nature of having steel wool, which I think is literally steel wool. The Once again, the detailing on him is really well done. This is spot on for the way that he appeared in the show. I did not realize, I didn't remember, like I knew this was the shape of the mouth. I didn't remember that they had a little bar that kind of stuck out, like it's a little peg that lit up. I always thought it was just a flat space with a little circle in the middle, but I knew that the eyes and the nose kind of popped out of it. He's got his little nubs on the top of his head there, kind of the clownish cheeks. Oh, I love love everything about this. The hands are well done. Be careful when you're fiddling with the hands. They have a tendency to pop out a little bit. They are secure once they're in there, but it doesn't take too much to pop them out of there. Which, if you're looking to do a lot of swapping, that's not too bad. 'Cause once they're in, they're in, but they are not quite as secure. You're not going to fight to get these out of there. So yes, Robear Bill, one of the Burbles, one of my favorite parts of Thundercats. Everyone knows them. Everyone should love these. If you don't love the Burbles, I question your humanity. But I always loved. I guess I liked that they were also robotic. They were a little robotic bear civilization that were just hanging out on Third Earth, minding their own business, being terrorized by people for their resources and their people and their fruit. Getting Wily Kitten, Wily Cat addicted to candy fruit, or Burble Fruit as it was called in the original series. But everything about them, I just found appealing. I thought they were fun. And yeah, of course, the voice. Everyone remembers the voice.
That certainly was exciting, Lionel.
The 80s was a good time for very specific sounding characters, and the Burbils were no different. So Robear Bill comes with a whole bunch of hands because that is what Super 7 does. They do it well. They do a lot. So you can get Robear Bill to be very expressive and do all kinds of things and say all kinds of stuff. He also comes with, actually, let's get him ready to hold his Berbil fruit. The first taste is free. Then afterwards, I guess it's still free after that. There's a lot of hands. It's very easy to it's very easy to get lost. He comes with a lantern. Don't remember if he had this in the first episode, but he does come with a lantern. He also comes with a torch, because you never know when you may have to eat the Thundercats. Comes with a knife because it was required that you give a bad first impression. And in the episode where they first meet the Thundercats, once again, Lino had gotten himself into some trouble, tied up in something, and Robear Bill was kind enough to show up with his trusty knife and free him. So you get that knife. I don't know if we ever see this again, but you get it for this toy. He also comes with a swappable head. The only thing that I think is a little bit weird with this figure is the way that the head looks. I know that they had necks that were shaped like this, so this sculpt makes sense. But the way that it sits in this joint, it's a little bit weird. So if you're holding him on an angle, you can't really tell what's going on or any of the weirdness. But if you're looking at it kind of straight on, there's that gap that looks a little strange. So if you're doing head tilts and whatnot, it's a little odd. I wonder if this would have worked better if the neck itself had been sculpted here with a ball joint that went up into the head, so you wouldn't have this extra ring, and it wouldn't look so that way the head could have sat on top of the neck, and it would almost look seamless when you were moving the head around. But that's a minor quibble. He is still pretty great, but he comes with oh, that is a little tough to get on there. He comes with a secondary head with some glowing eyes because the Burbils also see in the dark with their glowing eyes. It's a little weird to see it not as a flash because when they spoke, their eyes would light up. So it's a little weird to. It's almost like you took a picture right as one of them was speaking, freaked them out, and then they have the kind of the creepy raccoon eyes. But not too bad. I'm on board for this. I'm thoroughly enjoying this figure. He is very neat. But I think I will be leaving this head on here because the light up one's it's a little freaky if you stare at it for too long. So Robear Bill, because he is part of the Ultimates line, he is a decent sized figure, even though he is supposed to be a smaller figure in a smaller character in the show. Stands about at the tip of an ear, a little over 4.5 inches. And like I said, he's a kind of a hefty boy. He's got some weight to him, so you're not gonna have to worry about him falling over for no reason. He's pretty solid. His base, the size of the feet, hold him up without too much of an issue. So let's take a look at the articulation real quick. Robear Bill has, as you saw, a ball socket on the neck for some curious staring action. He gets a pretty decent amount of look up, not too much down. He's pretty low to the ground, so really not too much going on down there anyway. Articulation at the shoulder. It's got full rotation there. He has a torso swivel, which is very impressive. Because honestly, if they had just made this whole piece just one piece, I would have accepted it. I'd be like, well, yeah, because the whole thing is just one giant, mechanically, he's just one giant metal barrel, so why would he have any motion there? But they gave him rotation at the chest, and that is very cool. Good job. There is not an ab crunch per se, so you were not going to be getting the up and down motion, but he can twist, and that is very cool. He has movement at the elbow, both the swivel as well as the hinge, and the hands are both swivelable and have the hinge. They do pop out fairly easy. If you're moving it around, because of the way that the fur is sculpted, it's very easy to catch and it just kind of pops out. So be aware. He has articulation at the thigh. Now, granted, he's not going to be doing the splits. He will not be pulling Jackie Chan action on anybody anytime soon because that's about as high as he gets. But he's a stumpy little Robear Berbil, so wasn't expecting too much. Articulation at he does have articulation at the knee. Not again, not a whole lot, but he's got a little bit. He can do some squats if you really want him to, and nothing at the ankle because come on. So let's see how Robert compares with a Super 7 Thundercat. Here he is with Tigra, and they scale pretty well. Like, Super 7 is very good about having their figures scale pretty well with each other. And I had actually forgotten how decently large the Burbils were compared to the Thundercats. I know they are little, but they did come up to their chest if I remember correctly. And let's see how he compares to a Battle Cat Man. And just for kicks, have him hanging out with Hordak. I'm glad that Hordak never appeared on Third Earth and discovered the Burbils. He absolutely would have experimented and tortured and turned them into terrible, horrible machine things. Or Burbils. This figure is great. He's very fiddly in a good way. He's not fiddly in that he's got lots of loose joints. You can get him into all kinds of posing, and you can just very expressive. I love what they've done with him here. The like I said, the sculpting is really good. I hope, Brian Savage, make more Burbils, make more of these guys. Now that they have the base figure sculpted, and the Burbils they looked alike, especially in the '80s series. This was the base form. So the all you really had to change was the color on them. So now is the time to start cranking these guys out. Give me regular colored Burbils, make up some colors for Burbils, make Burbils based on the original '80s releases, and just start making Burbils, man. I don't care if you make nighttime glow in the dark Burbils, because I'm a sucker for glow in the dark Burbils. I especially want, and I don't know how open Brian Savage is to doing the Thundercats 2000s line. I think that he's seen aware that people would be interested in that now. I think it was brought to his attention, but the Burbils from the 2000 series, holy cow, would I do some things to get those figures made? Because they were amazing. They don't have to transform into wheels. They don't have to transform into wheels, but I want those as little articulated figures because the design was already good, and somehow the new series made them better. So, Brian Savage, I know you listen to the show. Get on that, please. So, at the end of the day, if you are a fan of Thundercats and you like Ultimates, I can't think of a single reason for you, as maybe aside from the price, to not get your hands on Robear Bill. He is a really great, really well done little figure. The detailing on him was really well done. The paintwork on them is fantastic. They did a really good job bringing out the fur, highlighting the circuitry on him. He's the perfect representation of the Burbils, and I sincerely hope that they make more of him in the future. Get on that, Brian Savage, because these things are great. So I hope that you have enjoyed this review. If you have, then please leave the video a like, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends and tell your buddies. It helps overcome YouTube's weird algorithm. You can also follow us on Blue Sky. Our handle is Two Guys Talking Toys. That is the number 2, no G after the talking. You can also follow us on Instagram. That is 2G Talking Toys. I like to wander around toy stores and see what I can find, or sometimes not find. So, until next time, take care, everybody.